The Nikki Glaser Podcast. The Nikki Glaser Podcast.
Here's Nikki.
Hello, here I am. Welcome to the show. It's the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Hope you all had a good week. I am here by myself in this room, but joining me on the podcast is, as always, Brian, Anya, and Noah.
Nikki coming in like a jazz radio station today.
I know. I don't feel as tired as my voice sounds, but yeah, it was a little bit like, hi guys, welcome back to the Nikki Glaser Podcast. Joining us tonight. Yeah, it's a little
Dave Brubeck coming up after the break.
I couldn't think of any jazz singer. Wait, let me.
That's all I could think
Herbie
of.
Hancock. Wait, is he jazz? Is he jazz?
Just piano.
Yeah.
Josh Coltrane. John Coltrane.
John.
Josh.
Yeah.
There were no Joshes back then.
Ron Jeremy.
So close.
Cat Calloway. I took a
Calloway.
jazz
Going
course
way back.
in college, and it was one of the best classes I ever took. All we did was watch Ken Burns's PBS documentary about jazz.
Yes.
And if you watch one Ken Burns
You're an
series,
expert.
you are, because first of all, it is like a college course. It takes so long to get through. They're so long. And if you're paying attention and taking notes, you do learn a ton. And I think it should qualify you as being able to talk about things that other people can't. Like the Civil War, if you got through that, baseball, what else is you done? The Holocaust.
Watch that one. I remember the Ken Burns jazz thing taught me that jazz came from basically jizz. I mean, it's another word. It's a euphemism for sex. Remember that?
How did I sleep through that class? How did I not hear that? That would be the only thing I could retain. Really?
I know. That's what I recall.
I just remember being deeply attracted to Winston Marsalis.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Wynton
yeah.
Marsalis.
Yeah.
Wynton Marsalis. God, he was hot. I just remember being like, okay, I have feelings for this like older man, and I was like a college
Let me
student.
Google
Just
him.
in this, it was just he was really hot in that documentary. I don't know, the light, just everything was popping off in his little interviews. He would come on, and it was just a calming presence. Never got into his music. Never even looked into it, even for 1 second. I just jazz has never interested me at all.
But you
What
did
about you
jizz
guys?
to Winston Marsalis.
I grew up with Wynton Marsalis because my
Wynton.
dad loves him so much. So that was always Sunday mornings was Wynton Marsalis, and then like comics in the paper, like spread out on the living room floor, and then my mom making crepes. She would always make crepes. And that
Can
was
you
my
sing a
Sunday
Wynton Marsalis song? Can you like?
No, I think it's instrumental. I think he's.
But I mean, can you even like hum it?
No, not at all.
What did he play?
I think trumpet. I don't know. My dad's a trumpet player.
Jazz.
So I'm
I mean, is
guessing that.
is along the lines of heavy metal for me, and like I don't. It's easier for me to get than maybe death metal. I don't mean to put heavy metal and death metal together, but to me they're the same thing. I don't know the difference.
It's
In terms
fine.
of, I don't understand how one could like that more than anything else. But could you maybe enlighten
It's
me?
an acquired
Anya?
taste. It's an acquired taste, jazz. You know,
Like
you
high
gotta
sauce
fine
or,
wine. It gets better with you just gotta keep listening, baby. That's the way it goes.
For my dad,
Why do I want
he
to
grew
fight
up with-
to like something?
You don't have to, but
No.
my dad grew up in the 50s with like conservative parents, but they were
Kyle
both
Dunnigan's
secretly.
joke.
What?
About how he's like old timey music. He's like, you think about old timey music where it's like he's spinning like one of those records. He's like turning it with his hand, and he's like, "Bum, bum, 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 bum," and his parents are like, keep that racket down. And he's like, this is our music, mom and dad. This is cool, not like your violin shit. And it's like, bum, 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 bum. It's like a nickel in my pocket and a penny in my dreams. And it's like, he's just like, this is fucking rocking. And then he's like, why did every song used to have talking about nickels? There was a nickel in every song. If you had a nickel back in the day, you were doing good. But it was just so funny how man, your
what a
dad
great
was
friend.
rebelling with jazz music. Like it was just so crazy.
Jazz was rebellious. I mean,
Yeah.
it's black music. It started in the South,
What?
I believe.
Just kidding. I missed that from the whole. I watched the whole Ken Burns series. Huh?
I think what's cool
I thought
about
Benny
it
Goodman started it.
is there aren't rules of jazz. So it's a lot like comedy. Weren't we just talking about this the other day, or am I having deja
I
vu?
would have never. No, I would have never compared. I'm just kidding. No, it's
So you hate it.
I don't hate it. I just there's nothing for me to sing to. There's nothing for me to like. I like memorization. I like yes, there's a part of comedy that I can see how I really like when people. I don't watch crowd work clips. It's not interesting to me because I could never do it because I'm not improvisational. I don't like it.
What about Sinatra? Like that's still
When he's
under
like,
the
whoa,
umbrella
bop,
of jazz.
ba-doo, bop, look at this table over. He had a plan.
Yeah.
He knew
Fly
lyrics.
me to the moon.
Yeah, well, that's,
I mean, you
I
like
guess
that.
that's jazz, but
Standards.
it's not like,
Oh God.
that stuff.
Yeah, sometimes
Some
it gets
jazz can
obnoxious.
be very annoying.
Yeah, and it's like they're. I think sometimes jazz trios and quartets or whatever, their goal is to dare you to like it. Like, I dare you to enjoy this. We're not going to play any sort of melody at all. Some of these aren't even fucking notes; they're just screeches that we're scratching the edge of the saxophone.
We're daring you. How cool are you? Are you
Yeah,
going to stay and listen to this?
Yes.
Because only the coolest people would. But do you relate to that of like, I don't like things that I can't see myself in some realm being able to do. If you just turn the dial up on my talent, I could be Taylor Swift. You know, like that's probably why I like it. It's in the wheelhouse that I have no access to, but I can see the wheelhouse. Coming up with like like even yesterday we were listening. Brian was over at my ranch place, and there was like a guy playing. What was he playing on guitar or a piano?
He was playing
Brian?
piano. "I Will" by the Beatles. Who knows how long I love you?
And it was good.
Great song.
And it was like he was kind of playing around with it and doing a lot of fun riffs and stuff.
Yeah, little riffs. Amazing.
He wasn't
lounge.
singing it though. And Brian was like,
No.
this is my goal, would be able to like play this good. It wasn't like crazy good. It was good enough to play at a wedding. It was happening at a wedding nearby. So I'm on this ranch where there's lots of weddings happening every weekend, and you could just hear them in the distance. They're like 100 feet away, and you hear speeches like, and people go, and then silence, and you're like, that joke didn't do well, and or people are crying or something. But we heard this beautiful music, and Brian was like, that would be my ultimate goal, because you play piano, Brian, right? And you
Yes.
just want to be able to. What's your ultimate goal with the piano? Like, what's the setting that you picture yourself like killing it in? What song are you playing? And what's the vibe?
It's one of my 40 under 40s is to be able to play piano for 30 straight minutes in front.
Oh my
I
God.
thought you
Of a
meant
group
30
of-
straight white men.
I want to play piano for 30 straight white men without getting turned on at all. No, I want to play piano for 30 straight minutes in a in a public setting where there's only strangers and no one tells me to stop. Like, it's not annoying.
Right. You're
That's
not the
my
guy at
goal.
the airport who sits down at the like community
And
piano
plays
and
chopsticks.
and everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
How does
No,
this guy have so much
I want people to be
confidence?
like pleasantly like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice piano. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not
but
You
looking
they're
at
not
found a
going-
venue to do that? Like,
Huh?
do you know where you're going to do that?
Oh yeah.
Well, there is one location that I know is a possibility, and that is LAX, because they have a piano in LAX, and it's just sitting out there. It's in some sort of bar, but it's out there clear and available for if someone really knows how to play piano, they can sit there and play it. I'm sure everyone will be happy about it. So that's one possibility. I'm also
I love
just
the
kind
idea
of
of you buying a plane ticket just so you can get in there and play it, because you can't this isn't the 90s. You can't just walk into an airport. You
yeah.
gotta buy a ticket. You'd buy
No, I
like the
gotta buy
cheapest
a
ticket,
ticket.
like a flight one way to San
Can
Jose.
Yes.
Oh,
Can I get a
like it's
one-way
after
ticket to Burbank?
TSA, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
No, I want to play there. I'm also hoping that one day I'm in like a hotel or something, and there's a lobby and there's a piano there,
God,
and then I just sit down. But I
that would
mean,
be amazing.
I'm sure you guys can relate to this, but like the real nice thing about piano and guitar is that it is an instrument that you could play in the background and it's fine. Like when I was growing up, I played the trumpet. And I just wish my dad would have told me when I was 12 years old that no one's going to want to hear me play the trumpet after I'm 13 years old.
No,
No one even wants
Unless
to.
you're in a band with Wynton Marsalis.
Well,
who
yeah,
plays
that's
the
for
trumpet.
sure. Yeah. But I was
no
never
one's
going to
like
be that.
excited about a trumpet. I'm sorry. I don't think
Yeah, you
anyone.
can't solo in an airport.
It's
It
the
would
thing
be
that
not-
wakes you up in the morning to go do boot camp. Like,
Yes.
right?
My wife's dad plays trumpet and he's in bands and stuff, and that's good.
Sure.
Like playing in
Yeah.
a band where it's acceptable, but you can't be at like a party and just be like, hey guys, I brought my trumpet and try to play, fucking
Well, these are different goals. You know, a
Alanis
trumpet
song.
player, you're a guy, much like myself, who this is why you do comedy. You want the attention on you. You want people to like what you're doing, and you want it to be kind of a solo endeavor. You don't mind a band, sure, but you want to be the main person providing the entertainment. I mean, it's very. It makes sense. I think there are trumpet players who are like, I would never need to just like play. I don't want to play at a party. That would be like so weird.
But trumpet players do, I would say a lot of them, they live for a solo. Like my dad is the head of a band, a big band. He plays trumpet and it's all about like, he loves the collaborative thing, but when he nails a solo, we will hear about it. He'll be like, I nailed the solo, and that's hard to solo on trumpet.
No,
Yeah,
it is.
so imagine.
I can tell you
But why
that
didn't he-
firsthand.
I'm sure he plays another instrument too. If he loved, does he play piano or guitar?
My dad plays a little piano, no guitar.
He plays a tiny piano, a little piano. Okay, because I don't understand why people who would crave that kind of spotlight would do something that wouldn't give them that. But I guess we all crave, like we all kind of protect ourselves with. Your dad might actually be scared of the solo and only want it once in a
Yes.
while.
I think he is, but he loves the band. He loves being in a band. He kind of loves being the band leader. He loves being like, we're doing an arrangement of Dusty Springfield's Windmills of Your Mind. I got it arranged by the Chuck Berry or whatever. He's
Yes.
Oh,
Charlie-
man.
Maybe like
Yes.
in the trumpet community, like they have like their big deal trumpet guys or girls.
Oh, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the
Chuck
ethos of
Mangione.
Really?
yeah,
That one?
Chuck
the-
Mangione.
yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say, when I was
Yeah, you
in
can
high school, I was in the high school jazz band. I played trumpet, and I had a solo in one of the songs. I forgot what song it was, but I remember thinking, I am not good at soloing, and we're going to have a concert in front of all of our families, and I'm going to have to get up and solo during this. And I remember getting up and playing the solo and thinking, wow, I just did a terrible job soloing. That was really embarrassing. And I sat back down. What I did not know is that they were recording that performance and putting on a CD for everyone to have.
What?
And I forgot about this thing. And then 10 years later, I find the CD and I'm like, oh, I remember the jazz band being pretty good. We were like a pretty good jazz band. And then I go and listen to the song, and man, that solo is much worse than I remember it being in person.
Oh, no.
It was like a fucking disaster. It was, I don't even know if I was, it was like I was in a different room practicing scales than the band itself. It was so bad.
That's humiliating.
That's
Yeah.
like my ice skating tape where I pretended to faint when I tripped, and
my
that
God,
exists
this
on a
makes
VHS
me. I have
somewhere.
to like leave the room to hear this. Like this.
Same here. I'm
story-
leaving my body.
Okay, just tell it, and I'm gonna go somewhere else because this one makes me so uncomfortable.
Wait,
Because
is
it's
it the
something I
part
would
where I'm
do.
doing a skating routine too? My heart belongs to daddy. First of all, that's the grossest part, that it's like a stripper song. I'm a sex worker, but I'm 9.
And isn't
And
your
then
dad
I-
on a chair?
Yeah, my dad
Like
is
out on the
nearby
ice rink?
reading, exactly, on a folding chair, reading the New York Times or something in a suit.
But being
and
like
I'm,
that's what his character is doing. He's like a part of
Right.
this. Okay, right.
yes, and I have a boa.
No,
A boa.
I forgot about all these details. The fainting part is worse enough, but then you add all of this
I'm wearing
Oedipal.
a purple leotard. I just remembered I was wearing fishnets, dude. Disgusting.
Oh my god!
Fishnets and a leotard and a boa, and like skating around my daddy.
So you mime fellatio on your dad, and then
Nikki,
then
I would
fainted.
not go that far. Yeah, I fainted on my fainting.
I mean, it's
couch
close
just
to
do
that. God only knows what they made these girls do at another, just one generation removed. We've progressed so much past this. This would be insane to do now.
I've got a
I mean,
nickel
in
in
some
my
southern
pocket.
communities, it'd be fine. But Okay, so what happened next?
So I'm only 10 or 20 seconds into the routine. I do,
You were going to be, say, 10 or 20 years old. I don't really remember.
I think I was 9 or 10.
Okay. Oh.
No, I was like 10 or 11. I had not gotten boobs yet, but just on the brink of, what do you guys call it in your little group? And dire. I was just on the brink of being in dire
need of a bra. Yeah.
And I'm doing a few back crossovers and I'm getting ready to do my axle or whatever. And then I trip over something silly, like maybe my boot, not even doing anything remotely hard. And I trip and I just like face plant and the ice has just been Zambonied. So it's like completely slick. No one has skated on it, which means when you fall, you really fall far. Like you're just like skating far, like a slip and slide. Whereas if the ice has been skated on, you don't
kind of
slip
go
that
a
far.
couple feet, and yeah.
So I'm like 15 feet.
You're like,
just like skating on
an
my
air
stomach.
hockey table puck, just like tapped,
Yes.
just sliding, but fainted. God.
Yeah, and during that moment, everything slows down in my mind, and I'm like, this was such a stupid fall that you have to act like you fainted and something went awry because like no one would fall like this. So I just pretend I'm unconscious. And there's just like my music just keeps playing. My dad isn't aware.
I need, there's a price that I would pay to see this. And it is more money than I spend on Taylor Swift tickets to see this video. Because
I've got to ask my dad where it is.
there is a video of it.
Yeah, it exists.
What? Anya.
Wow.
Anya.
Find
we need
it.
the trumpet solo audio and we need this video.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
yeah.
I did.
Give your
Did
dad
I
this
ever-
mission.
Did I ever
to find
play you the audio of me like talking to my dad about that?
No.
I went home and I asked him about it. Let me see if
I was watching it.
Why did she make me do that?
Oh.
can you hear this?
And you thought it was creepy too?
I thought it was creepy, very creepy, and I said, I hope nobody else thinks this is creepy.
And she made you dress up in a suit?
No, I don't think I went on the ice.
Yes, you did. She had you part of the routine. You were sitting on the ice wearing a suit, reading a newspaper, and I was fucking skating around you in fishnets, going, my heart belongs to daddy. What the fuck?
Jesus Christ. I'm glad that most people are dead. Can't remember these events.
That's a great line.
I'm glad that
say
most
that
people are
often.
dead.
That's
Most
true in
people
any
are dead.
situation.
That is, what happened afterwards? Did people like come up to you and you had to pretend like, or were people kind of just like, get up, girl? We know what is this?
I think eventually I got up. I was like, I'm not fooling anyone. And I finished out the routine and it was so embarrassing. And, you know, I got last place, of course. And it was just that moment, like you had, Brian, of like, I'm sure if I watched the video, it would be so much worse than I thought it was. I'll look
first
for
time-
it. I'll see if it exists.
The first time I remember of this, like, I remember Dane Cook had a bit about if you trip and then you look back and you go like, like you laugh, or what do? You get like mad if you trip, like, cause you're so embarrassed. Like instant embarrassment causes you to have these like spikes in your emotions.
Oh,
So
yeah.
people would, Dane Cook had a bit where like time anyone trips, they're like, what the fuck? Like,
Who
but it's
put
like
that
it's just a
sidewalk
little-
there?
Yeah, who put that sidewalk there? But I remember the first time I ever heard that kind of idea was Kirsten, my friend from high school. We were in like French class in 8th grade, and I think maybe John Reiner, I forget who, John Dahlberg or something, was leaning back in his chair too far, like trying to be like cool, you know, like leaning back and like had his leg like kind of on the desk, and then it fell back. He fell back all the way, and then he was like, "That was fun. I want to do it again. Like, you guys should try it." And it was just like, I just remember her pointing out that that's what people do when they're embarrassed and thinking, that's so funny. What a great observation. I was like, I'll be a comedian someday and steal that. I think that's what planted the seed. But I was just like, that was the first time I'd ever heard anyone call that out. And so I think we started making fun of people that would do something embarrassing and be like, well, you got to do it. It's like, really, that was actually fun. I'm not embarrassed at all. And you're like bleeding from the head.
Doubling down.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta go to break, but we'll come back with more after this. All right, we're back. Brian, before the show, you had an announcement. You said something, and I said
Yes.
save it.
Okay. I don't know if this is worthy of a show, but I have a bag, and in the bag are all these little, these things, these like thread-free cloths.
Oh yeah, they're for wiping your
Microfiber?
glasses.
Yeah, anyway, I was looking through the bag of cloths. I have a lot of them. I took some out, actually. I have more than
like
this.
all of the, I can't see your camera right now for some reason, but like all of the cloths are like little things that you get from I see it now. All like to clean sunglasses and stuff.
Yeah, you
put
get
all in
them
his
from
bag,
sunglasses. Sometimes
and you've gathered them in that bag.
With electronics, and I just
Is that
gathered
why you
them in
asked
the
to
bag.
keep my bag yesterday?
No.
Because
that
you
was a
like little
different bag.
bags to put things in?
No, don't you dare say that about me.
Okay, so, oh boy. Okay. Didn't
Okay,
mean to
so
trigger you.
this one is this one's like fucking 20 years old or something. This is
Why
from
do you need more than one?
this is from Vision, because in case I don't know, but this one's from Vision People, which is a now out of business eye care store from in on Long Island. And the last time I went to Vision People was well over 20 years ago. So now I have this. I have a rag
relic.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it out. Anyway,
Okay, there you go. Okay.
That's what I was gonna say before the show, just in case anyone was wondering about my bag
Things
of
on your
rags.
desk.
OCD.
I never use those. Anya always has them to wipe her glasses, and her glasses are probably scratch free. I use whatever is around to clean off sunglasses or any kind of camera lens. A burlap
The reason
sack, a SOS pad, anything that it's caused me so much strife in my life. I don't know why I don't learn, but it's better than a smudge, I guess. A micro
The thing with these microfiber cloths is they really fucking work. Otherwise, I would lose them. But I do covet them. When I come across one, I'm like, snatch it. I mean, I can see why you have a coterie of them.
Made of them.
Yes.
Why aren't more things? Like, why aren't more shirts?
Like toilet paper.
Like, these are shirts for people who wear glasses. You could always
Mine
clean
is
your
for a guitar.
Oh, that's
Great
a good
idea.
Yes.
A sweater.
For a guitar. Again, I would just clean it with something that I just hear my mom's voice. Don't clean it with that. No, it's my dad's voice. Do you ever like hear a voice and you go like, who is scolding you for this?
Nikki, you're
Don't
going to
use
scratch
that.
it.
You're gonna scratch it. Oh God, you're scratching it up. That is like my whole childhood. Is that some version of that? What do you do? You just ruined it. And just being like, okay, I know I can't have nice things. I'm a sloppy mess. I'm
what would you
different
be
than
like
everyone
if
in
you
the family.
had kids?
And
you caught
probably
your kid
a
wiping
version of
your
that.
glasses
That's
with
why I don't
a
want
burlap
kids.
sack.
I would 100% do that. I scold people all the time for things that I do. It's like you become your parents. That's why I don't want kids. There's no chance that I would even be close to being a better parent than they were in those moments. I do the same exact thing because they conditioned me to do
makes
it.
a mistake.
Oh, well, that's different. The little dog.
No, dogs don't know nothing, and they get my
know
dog's
better.
not cleaning up anything ever. Like my dog's never trying to be a better dog. These are all moments where I was trying to help and do something, and I failed at it. And this is why I don't clean my room. This is why I don't clean bathrooms, because I do everything wrong anyway, and I always mess it up more. Why would I try to do the right thing? So then I would leave it alone. I would leave it alone. And
She's
what's
slowly
up? Are we
turning
doing the
into a
episode from
dog.
the other day?
I know.
I would leave it alone, and then leave it alone, and I would
Let's do the rest of the pod as dogs.
make it. I would just make it work, or my mom would do it for me. And then that's how I grew up to have a room that is completely in disarray all the time. And but it's an organized chaos. And I like that word. When I found out that those two words together, it really brought me a lot of peace. And the more I've looked on ADHD memes on Reddit, which is what my boyfriend and I often share those, because he has a different kind. I think he has more advanced ADHD than me, but he has found so much solace in these memes that make him feel so much less alone. I've never seen someone so comforted by memes. But he's like, I saw another meme today that I thought was just me, but it's ADHD. And it's like, it's so freeing for people to have a label to put on things. We hate labels, but it makes you feel like not like an anomaly or a freak. And again, it makes you feel like it's not your fault, that it's something outside of you, when really everything, no matter what it is not your fault and outside of you. No free will, bingo card. But I just see him all the time feeling so much better. Like, oh my God, he has a thing. I don't know if you guys relate to this. I probably brought it up before because I don't relate to it. And I'm kind of almost mad because I fit a lot of ADHD things, but not this one. If he has an appointment later that day, he can get nothing done until the appointment. Like it's sitting there and he's like, I have a 3:00 dentist appointment. I'm going to get so much done before that. I'm going to wake up at 9. And it's that appointment is all that exists that day, even though there's a full day before it. You all are all nodding your heads. I can't relate to that at all. And I think I would have no success in my life if I had that. That seems very tough.
What's he doing before the appointment?
That I don't know. I think maybe tidying around the house, like just, or like watching Netflix or something, napping, or like, it's just, I guess the feeling is, I can't speak for him, but I will and continue to the rest of our lives with a lot of authority and just sureness that I'm getting it right. But I'm guessing would say that it's just all he can, there's nothing else to do that day if he has an important thing. There's just the rest of his day falls away. And then nothing gets accomplished, even though he did have a whole day free. I don't know though. But you guys relate? I saw some nodding.
I experience this phenomenon sometimes. The way to counteract that is to make another appointment that's earlier, and then you have two appointments. But I do that all the time. I think if I was to guess why, like I'll just lay around and I'll look at my phone and I'll like just kind of languish when I have an appointment at 3:00. Yes, and if I were to guess why that is, I would think it's because no matter what thing you assign yourself to do, it feels like you're not going to have enough time to finish it because your appointment's coming up.
And then you have an unfinished thing. What is it?
I think so. I relate to this too, and I'm a procrastinator.
Yes,
and I think it's just like another excuse to procrastinate on things.
Yeah, that could be it too.
So it's an excuse because you can't get anything done, like what Brian is saying. You go, I can't get this thing done anyway.
Yes, like I don't have enough time before the appointment. And I don't want to be late for the appointment.
Okay,
and it's like you're just constantly sabotaging yourself.
Perfectionism, procrastination. What's the other P?
Pussy.
Okay, I just found it. Waiting mode is when you can't get anything done because you're distracted by the awareness that you have something planned, such as an appointment later on. You feel anxious, impatient, and even overwhelmed. People with ADHD know all about waiting mode, and it's incredibly frustrating. And that's from, Google snipped that to read. Yeah, I can't start any task because I have an appointment later is just a common thing. Nothing ruins a person with ADHD's day like a 3 p.m. appointment. Let's talk about wait mode. I can't do anything when I have a scheduled. I mean, over and over, people are struggling with this.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't relate to it
because I feel like I know that I have to leave 15 minutes before that. There's no worry about a wait. Like as I set my alarm on my phone for 5 minutes before I have to actually leave. And I feel like maybe I might not do anything really important to get done, but I almost feel like that gives me a free time to I have an appointment, so I will be doing something today. There will be a sense of accomplishment. So I feel free to pursue my hobbies or something that or to be on my phone or to take a nap. I don't feel disappointed in myself because I do have that scheduled thing.
Does he feel disappointed in himself?
Yes. I think that is the overall vibe. I don't think it would be something he is I relate to it so much if he wasn't feeling anguish over
because what
why
happens
can't I get other
is
things done?
You go to your appointment at 3:00, you get back home, it's fucking 5:30 now, and you're like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything all day except go to this appointment. That's why you feel bad, which happens to me all the time. But I
relate to, what did you say?
ADHD is a blessing and a curse. I think that it's a curse with stuff like that. I don't think I have it. I mean, maybe a little bit or whatever.
I don't think I wouldn't think you do, but I think we all have a touch maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I just keep all my rags. But I think that
that's OCD. Maybe.
ADHD, by the way, look at this little
or astigmatism.
Look at this little shit rag. Why does
this? Anyone? Will you give me some of those, Brian? Will you give me the one you're about to throw out? The vintage one? No, the vintage one
for a mouse's monocle.
I
already threw it out. Was it on top of a dirty banana and some raw eggs?
Here it is.
I'll take it out of your wastebasket next to your desk.
Okay.
I'll eat the trash. I'll eat that rag.
ADHD is a blessing because I feel like a lot of people who are very good at things have ADHD because they have an extreme attention to detail and they don't let things slide, and that creates really amazing things like producers and writers and stuff like that, because it's like I must
they get laser
make this
focused.
right. Laser focused. That's just
And nothing else can distract them. And people think that we've talked about this before. They think that ADHD is just like, there's like a squirrel. I'm going to talk about this. And it is that in a lot of ways. I have it when it comes to conversation. I'll be in the middle of a sentence and I won't finish the sentence and I'll start the next, I just did. Like I will start the next sentence before finishing that sentence. So I think that's like the negative side of it, but it is a lot of just hyper focus, because when you get in a tunnel, you can, and that's, I think, the appointment thing. I have an appointment today. I can't think about anything else. I can't do anything else. I have that to do. Hyper focus. I can't miss that. I waited a really long time to get this appointment. And there's like a lot of stress around that. But yeah, I think it's a blessing and a curse as well.
I've seen a meme about reading a book if you have ADHD and you just read the same page over and over, realize you haven't absorbed the page, go back 4 pages, and the same thing happens again. You just cannot absorb the material.
I think that's probably ADHD people suffer from it, but I think people without ADD have that too, because sometimes a book is fucking boring and you are just thinking about something else and you're trying to read the book to distract you from that thing, but your brain is like, no, we need to solve this other thing. Which I think could be ADD, but I think a lot of people have that feeling of reading the same page over and over. I know I do it constantly when I'm reading, or when I'm, more so when I'm watching anything. I mean, I've talked about this before. I will watch a scene 17 times. I'm not kidding you. Like on Succession, because Succession, I don't want to miss a single line. And there's sometimes when I would watch it and I'd be very distracted on my phone. And I would keep looking down my phone at the exact moment that I would do it every time. And I would watch for 5 seconds and go, don't do it again, Nikki. And then I'd forget not to do it. And I look down again and I go, missed it again. So that just, that happens.
Perhaps that's why you're an active watcher. You like talking when you're watching shows.
Yes.
So maybe that helps you pay attention because you're engaging
100%
in the material.
There's something riding on my attention, which is a human connection that I'm trying to make. If I'm not watching the show, I have nothing to say to this person. I'm accountable if I'm watching with someone. I can't watch anything alone. I don't know when this happened. As a kid, I could watch things alone all the time. I do think I have ADHD from social media and phones. Like I think it's late onset. I think I had early signs of it for sure. But I think it is really amped up because of devices. I don't see how it couldn't be.
I think we all suffer from that. But
Yeah.
that's what I wonder is like, when is it ADHD and when is it just a person in 2023 who owns a phone?
Agreed.
You know? Like,
Tell me about it. That should be a meme. Or that should
What
be
is this disorder when you have a flight in the morning, but you have 24 hours until the flight and you spend the entire day packing perfectly? Like, the perfect amount of shampoo, the perfect amount. That's what I do before a big trip.
That's
and I'll
OCD,
spend the
I think.
entire day.
OCD based on anxiety.
Okay.
You have anxiety about the upcoming engagement, and you're trying to protect yourself from any outcome that could be negative by packing so perfectly.
I am so glad I don't have that, but I'm jealous that I don't at the same time, because I fly so much, my life would be fucking hell. I'm jealous of just being organized and like having nice things nicely folded and like, I just want to be a neat woman with like nice things and like just my suitcase unpacked so that the dog can crawl in it and be like, I'm going to miss you. But my dog could never even get neat. Like I want to take a cute pic. I could never take a picture of my dog in the suitcase because he can't get in because there's things flying, hurling towards it as I throw them from my closet. He would get hit in the face with a fucking stiletto that I won't wear because I've never worn stilettos, but I keep it in my closet because someday I might need a stiletto heel, even though they haven't been in forever and they hurt my feet so badly I won't wear them. So there's something, that's my whole thing. I'm jealous of something and I want it, but it would really hinder my life. Do you feel like annoyed that you do that? Like I don't think Anya Marina would give up. If I could tell you will pack less perfectly, but you will only do it for 3 hours before your flight. Or at some point before, not directly before. Would you sign up for that?
Potentially forgetting to bring sunscreen.
Yeah, you might
Right.
have to go buy sunscreen at CVS, but it's not
I
going to
mean,
be
my
like
heart rate is rising right now. I feel it rising. Just you asking me that question, I can feel my heart beating.
Really?
It's like this. But I do think I've made progress because I used to spend 8 hours packing, not even joking, for like a tour weekend. And now,
What?
like I went to New York the other day. Yeah. Because I would be like, I don't want to bring one extra t-shirt of merch. But you always do. Like I always would.
What happens
But-
if you do? Like, you're not trying to get things under 50 pounds necessarily because you carry on. So, like, who cares if you bring an extra shirt or something?
No, I do try to get it under 50. I hate bringing extra shit with me. I hate being like, I can't believe I lugged all this shit around, or like, there's an extra bag
Why
in
is
the
that
trunk.
worse than spending hours of your life? Like,
Well, I did get
wasted
to a point where I'm like,
yeah.
this is a waste of my time. You know,
Mm.
you don't need to spend the whole day because you're cutting into your life. Like this
Oh,
isn't
I hate
fun
that.
anymore.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a much quicker packer, and I do feel like I've made progress around like, who cares? So what if you only have one outfit and you forgot more clothes? Or who cares if you have like too many clothes and you never wore those? Or you brought 2 books and you never even cracked one of them? Who cares? So it's better.
What
I
was the
packed
thought
for New York
before?
the
Like,
other day.
I understand who cares so much. Like, thank God I do, because my life really would be hell if I had to pack so much all the time. And I really do start packing a half hour before I will leave for like 2-week trips. And then there's no joke there. I just grab, okay, going through my shirts. I love this shirt. I love this shirt. I know I need like I'm going for 5, let's say I'm going for 5 days. I'll probably want 9 shirts because I might just want to wear different things in different days. 9 shirts. Okay, sweatshirts, I need 2. I like this one. I like this one. A denim jacket. Perfect. I need actually a dressy jacket. I'll take that. Okay, I'm going to need black boots and like, white boots. Those go with everything. Okay, gym shoes, running shoes, sneakers that'll look good on stage, sneakers that are kind of like scuffed up that I can wear to get coffee, flip-flops in case we go somewhere like that.
Oh my God, I'm getting so
nice
stressed out
pants.
right now.
Really?
Yeah, it's so many
taking
things
notes right now.
Like
for me.
Lululemon pants. Okay, let me go through all my Lululemon pants. I'm gone 5 days. I like to wear them every day. I kind of like a clean pair every day. I'm going to honestly bring 6. Fuck it. I'm going to bring 6. And I'll probably only wear 2. Who gives a shit? They don't weigh that much. Throw them in there. Okay, toiletry
This
things.
is
That's
your
already
inner
packed up because I
monologue.
live out of a toiletry case anyway. I never put anything back away. So I just zip that up, put my face wash back in, my whatever is out on the counter, put it back in, zip up, throw it in. Socks. Okay, go to the sock drawer. I'm gone 5 days. Let's bring 10 socks. Fuck it. I don't know what's going to happen. There might be a
Oh my
lotion
God,
spill
no
in my
way.
bag. 10 socks. Throw them in.
Lotions.
Wow.
And then I roll up my suitcase and I go, whoa, this is about 52. I can feel it. Okay, we got to go back in. Those Lululemon pants, I don't need fucking 5. Okay, those are kind of heavy. Let me pick the heaviest ones. Let me take 2 of those out. Okay, what of these lotions in my bag are under 3 ounces that are kind of heavy that I can put in my carry-on? Okay, take those out. That's 2 pounds. Okay, good to go. Let's go. Oh, I forgot all the podcast equipment. Noah hit me once. But that's really like how
Noah
my
has a
mind
panic
works.
attack.
If I could move that fast, I could pack that fast. What I just said.
Yeah.
I don't
no,
like
yeah,
it.
I feel
I'm
like
not
that.
wired that way.
What is going through your mind when you pick out shirts?
I am an
let's say you're gone
anxious-
4 days.
I
Why
have
can't
to
you
be
just grab 5
slow.
shirts?
It's like asking a cow why they don't like run like a fucking jackrabbit. They just don't. The cow's like, I will take my time. I just cannot do it. It like really aggravates me. I don't like being stressed. I don't like rushing. Like I was coming here today and I was like, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. I'm like, no, fuck it. I'll be 5. And it was just like, I hate this. I would so much rather be early and chilled out than like plugging in my headphones and putting in and trying to get online.
I
like,
love being right on time and rushing right to that moment because I just know I just know how long things take almost perfectly. And I am late a lot of times, but I'm always like at the most, unless I'm like super late and I've overslept or it's something egregious. There's like a car accident that there's huge traffic. If I check my text of the word late, I would say it would most likely be the number 3 or 7 next to it. 3 minutes late, 7 minutes late. And 3 minutes late, people go, why do you even need to tell me? Well, it's because it's late. But it's always, and I know exactly what it's going to be. I guess that's, I will like that part about my personality, but I don't
You're the
like getting
shark.
somewhere and having to wait. Ooh, God. I want to just walk right in
Yes.
and
I
go.
love waiting. I love it because it's like, it's an illusion of wasting time. It's like, I can spread it out. I can open up my laptop. I can listen to a podcast, and I don't have to stress at all that I'm like,
see, that's like
rushing.
Now it's time to stress, girl, because you have nothing to do until it starts, and you don't have any of your distractions with you. I mean, you have your phone, and maybe your laptop, so you do have distractions with you, but it's taking out maybe. Like I'm there for like a lunch meeting with someone at a cafe. I don't want to get there early because I'm nervous about it. Or a date, like when I used to go on dates, like I'm always 5 minutes late because I want to get right in and go. I don't want to sit and think about like, you should run, you should not go. I don't want to be. I saw a couple, this was so cute. I'm staying on this ranch and there's a coffee shop here. And every morning I see this girl and she's so freaking nice. I just love her warmth. She's like this young girl, cute. And I get a latte and she's so nice. She knows my name now. And I think she's like, I don't know. Everyone knows my name. Cheers. It's happening. So, and it's just me and this girl. And I sit there and I write my journal and then she's just doing her stuff and people come in and out. And the other day I walked in, it was like around 4:30. It's closing at 5, maybe 4:45. And there's this guy sitting there, and there's only 2 tables in this very, very small cafe. It's almost like annoying that I'm in there when she's in. I'm sure she's like, can you just go outside? But it's so hot here. So I'm sitting there, and this guy is sitting at the other table, and it's right next to me. Like, we're on top of each other. And he's a young kid, and he's just sitting there, and he's holding his phone, and then he puts his phone down, and he's just staring straight ahead for a really long time. And I'm like, wow, it's so cool. Like, this guy in his like 20s can like just not be on his phone. Like, I've never seen this in this generation. I couldn't even do that. He's just sitting there thinking, and she's starting to do closing duties, because it's closing. And she says to him, or no, he says to her, do you want me to help? So I'm go, oh, they know each other. I thought at first I go, what is this guy doing? Is he on the ranch too? Like, maybe I'll make a friend. And he goes, and then I go, is he her boss or something? And I was like, I looked at him. I go, no, he definitely doesn't work here. This is probably her boyfriend who's like come to pick her up and he's hanging out before. And so she goes out. She goes, no, I'm good. And she goes out and she's stacking chairs in the front. She can't hear me. And I go, is that your girlfriend? Because I'm just like obsessed with this girl. I think she's so adorable. I saw a guy come in the other day while I was writing in my journal. There's a lot of people who cycle through this canyon I'm staying in, and they stop in at this ranch to get coffee. And he stopped in, and they were like flirting, and they both liked each other. And I was like wanting to set them up, whatever. So then she's adorable. I've like really imagined this whole life for this girl. She can have anything she wants in life. She's fantastic. And so I go, is that your girlfriend? And he's like, oh no. And then I realized, he is he's like, I'm just her friend. I'm like, this guy's in love with her. This is a friend who is in love with this girl. He's like, I was in the area, so I just decided to come and hang out where I think we're going to go get dinner. So like, there was like too much information coming out, but he was like, what guy goes and just watches his friend close a place? Maybe they were just friends, but I was projecting a lot onto this of like, he's got this deep crush on her. She kind of knows, but doesn't, and maybe would be into it, but he's not direct enough. But I realized what he was doing with the phone thing is he was trying to look like he's sitting at this cafe. He has nothing else to do. She's there watching him, but she can't talk to him because I'm in there. So she can't like be friendly with him. And he's thinking like, I don't want this girl to think I'm just always on my phone. And that's like all I do. And I'm obsessed with my phone like other guys. So I'm just going to like stare. That doesn't look cool. Fuck. Okay. Now I just look like a psycho. Like, but there's nothing for him to write. There's nothing for him to do. So he was just having this internal struggle of like how to look cool in this moment. And I bet you anything he wishes he would have got there a little bit later to not have to like deal with this like waiting time because she didn't want help from him. But what do you do in that? I guess I was projecting the whole way because I know that when I think I'm being watched or I'm trying to look cool, I don't want to seem like someone who's addicted to their phone. So I'll put it down. But then you go, well, what do I do? There's nothing. Yeah. Do I just sit here and think? That looks maybe even more crazy. Like, do you ever just
wistfully gazing?
Yeah, I've done that.
Gazing at a wall. He had nothing to look at either.
There was like a line at Starbucks or something. And if you just look at any line at Starbucks, everyone's on their phone. There's not a single person on their phone.
Yeah.
And there was a time I frequently don't look at my phone. I'm one of those guys staring off. And I stood on the line and I was the only one on the line without a phone. And you know what you feel like? You feel like a 60-year-old dad or something who's like, I'm looking around and these people know like if I look up from my phone, this fucking guy is going to try to talk to me. And that's what happens.
They can feel your presence.
But I didn't want to talk to anybody. But that's just how I didn't have a phone, so everyone was thinking that I was going to do that. But I just really wanted to look around.
Yes. You are a guy that is not tethered to his phone. So we have a common friend here that we were hanging out with yesterday, and she was talking about trying to get out there and date again. She's mid-30s, got out of a relationship recently, is like, wants to get back out there, is discouraged by the apps. And she's like, the days of meeting someone at a bar are so long gone. And she was like, or just like out in public. And we've said this before, and I've heard this before, but it just struck me. She's like, because everyone's looking down now. No one even looks up anymore. There's no one even looking to make a connection out in the real world. It's so discouraging.
And they got ear pods in too.
Yes.
I know.
And what a way to show the world, don't talk to me. I mean, when people talk to me with my AirPods in, I go, are you fucking crazy? Can you not see?
Yeah.
That there's nothing playing in these, and I'm wearing them solely to let you think that there's something playing in them, and I'm listening to a podcast. I'm engrossed in an audiobook.
That's why everyone's fucking their coworkers now, because it's the only time you can actually talk to a person.
Social, and you are forced to not be on your phone.
Yes.
And you have to look at them across the table at a meeting. That's such a good point.
I keep thinking
true?
as a society,
everyone's fucking their coworkers. Biden.
I keep thinking we're going to grow out of this. Biden. Oh my God.
I think we will. There will be a reckoning. I think that,
I think it's going to be
like
it's going to
eyebrows,
seem really
bushy.
uncool. Thin, Baywatch.
bushy, like high-waisted jeans, low-waisted, high-waisted, low-waisted. The trends will keep going back and forth.
Yeah, I think it'll go one or either way. It'll either go, there'll be a generation who thinks it's uncool to be connected to your phone, and that it's cool to be in present, or we'll just keep increasing until we're so connected that our cell phone is implanted chip into our brain, and we're never not connected, so it's not even a choice.
I tried to scroll the other day I took some notes to go on stage. I was doing 1 million sets the other night, and I had a note card from my, hotel notepad, and I wrote some lines on it, which I don't normally do. I'm always just like looking at my phone. And I was holding my phone and holding this note card, and Carlisle was in the car with me as I was reviewing my set. And I tried to scroll on the note card.
I've done
multiple
that
times.
Photos.
I kept doing it.
I've done this thing on photos where you're trying to enlarge it, or like with a page from a book. I'm like, oh.
I was doing it, and I realized I thought, and I tried to convince myself I was self-soothing, just like, I'm just rubbing this paper. And I go, no, you're scrolling. My hand is constantly in a phone claw. In every picture where I don't have a phone in my hand, it is already in. It's missing it. It's reaching out for it.
Yeah.
And I do have that dent on my pinky. Does everyone have the pinky dent?
No.
Where your phone? That's we all have it now. But that's where you rest your phone when you're holding it. And there's a dent now in most people's pinkies. Look and see if you have it on your pinky in your phone holding hand. Do you see that dent in mine?
A little bit, yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's not
okay.
where I put my phone. Do I?
Well, I don't
it rests
You're
there.
Right.
Sometimes.
It rests there. I had 1 million sets this week, 9 to be exact, 9 million, and over 2 nights, 4 on Friday, 5 on Saturday. And talk about like having such pleasure when you are like, I can do a whole night. I start at 7:40 and I end at 11 o'clock, and I can go boom, 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 and hit them all at the right time. I plan them all, and I ended up being late.
At all.
No waiting at all. I just walk in and go right up. Or if sometimes I see the set before me or something, which is sometimes kind of fun because it forces me to watch stand-up, which I'm don't want to do sometimes. But I had 4 sets on Saturday, and then I had a block of time between like 8:45 and 10:11 where I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do in that? I'm in my car, I'm in Hollywood, I'm 20 miles away from where I'm staying. I can't go back home. There's no one to go to dinner with. I don't want to go have dinner alone. I just was like, what am I going to do? And then I got a text earlier that day that was like, Nikki, do you have time tonight around 9 o'clock? And I'm like, oh, yes. And do you like Jeremy Renner? And I was like, I just wrote ha ha ha. It was from a number that I don't really know who it is, to be honest with you. It's just someone who always books me on shows, and I show up at the shows and I never know if that person is there or not. I'm always like, ha! I just like greet everyone like I've been texting with them for years, booking me on places. Thank you for this. I don't know who this person is, it's just an 818 number. But we have a history
Jeremy
of texting
Renner.
about text. Yeah.
It's like, do you like me?
He's
Yes
like, I'm cutting
or
to
no?
the chase. We've been texting for years. Do you like me?
I was in a terrible accident. Please
Which
help.
I did not remember. So I said, ha ha ha. And I said, yes, I am free at that time. And yeah, I think he's extremely talented, which I do. I was like, what do I feel about Jeremy Renner? Like, I don't really often comb through my feelings about actors whose work I really haven't been exposed to because I'm not an action movie gal.
Hawkeye.
He's in the Hurt Locker. And
Yeah,
he was
Hurt
what?
Locker. Hawkeye. He's Hawkeye. He's in Disney's
And I don't know what
Hawkeye
that is.
and Marvel, every Marvel movie, the Avengers.
I knew he was in Avengers, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I
He's
wouldn't
a
be able
short
to tell you.
king.
He's a short king, yes. But all I knew of him, to be honest with you, besides stuff in the tabloids or stories of his life, i.e. that snowmobiling accident, I know that he was great on SNL. I remember seeing his SNL monologue and thinking, everyone give up. This guy can sing.
Really?
I take
He plays
he's probably a good
piano?
actor because he played piano and he was
Wow.
singing, and I was like, this guy is a renaissance man. He's good at everything. He's attractive. He's funny. Like, he's nailing it. I just remember being very frustrated after I saw his. And usually I'm not frustrated by men in that way when they're super talented. I'm usually like, well, they're a man. They're not my competition. But I felt like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe God bestows that much talent on some people and others. I can't do a fucking B minor chord. It's just frustrating, And so that's all I knew. And then I get to so then I pick up Carlisle to go around to my sets with me. And I was like, oh, I'm doing your friend Katie Cordoza's show at the Haha, which is this club in the Valley that I never go to because it's just not in the area, but it fit with my schedule. So I said yes to the show. And she also asked me, or someone asked me who booked me on the show, if I like Jeremy Renner. And she was like, oh yeah, she's friends with him. And I was like, oh, okay. So is he on the show? Like, I thought, oh, I'll get to meet him. He'll be on the show. I guess he's trying stand up, like doing a Jeremy Piven. All the Jeremys
Right.
are trying stand up. I don't know. And so she's like, no, I think he comes to watch sometimes. And I was like, oh, okay, he'll be in the audience. But like, why would I be asked if I like him? Why does that matter? If like he will only watch comedians who like him or something. I was just like, it's just a weird question from a person I don't know. And so I got there and they're like, Jeremy Renner is in the building. And I'm like, is this an audition? Like, I don't even know. I don't need to know this. I don't like to know when famous people are there. I mean, sometimes it's fun. There was a show where I was at where Bette Midler was there and I was like, what jokes would Bette like? But most of the time I don't know. It's just like now there's something added to it. And then to add to that, I'm in the lobby of the place. I'm about to go up and I'm like, what jokes did Jeremy Renner like? I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know anything about this guy. But I also want to please a celebrity because they're a celebrity and everyone else is like making a big deal of it. Not like a huge deal, but they're like, Jeremy Renner is like, he's here. He's in, like, he can change my life. And there's like this, just that idea, I guess, in Hollywood of like every show, who knows? He could be like, she's a leading lady or what, I don't know. But I wasn't really thinking that way. I don't even want to be in movies. And then I see a guy at the bar and I'm like, is that fucking Carlos Mencia? Who when I started in 2006, you might not think Carlos Mencia is a big deal now, but he was such a fucking huge, he was the biggest
Selling out
comedian
stadiums, right?
in 2005 to 2009. He was like the guy. Arena, like Madison Square Garden, probably multiple shows sold out. And he's at the Haha Café on a Saturday night at the bar. Is he wearing shorts? Are those lawn mowing shoes? What's happening? But I'm like, no, that guy just looks like Carlos Mencia. And then I go in the hallway and I'm like, kind of like, because I opened for him early on in my career. We had the same agency and they were like, you should go on Carlos's tour. And I went to one gig with him on a weekend and Brad Williams was there too. He's the little person comedian. He was there too. And Josh Blue, I think maybe Josh wasn't there, but Carlos didn't. It's not like we didn't get along. It was just not a good fit for his audience to have me do like abortion jokes for 5 minutes, like trying to be Sarah Silverman before he went up and did whatever he did. He has to go to break, but I'll finish the story when I get back. So I'm at the Haha Cafe. I'm about to go on. I think I've seen Carlos Mencia. I don't know. He comes over and he's like, Nikki, it's Carlos. And I was like, oh my God, Carlos Mencia. Still like locked in this part of my brain, which is like, this guy is a big deal. He can change your life. I don't feel that way now. And Carlos Mencia is a good example of like why none of this fucking matters. Because he was doing arenas and now he's at the Haha Cafe on a Saturday night having beers with his friends. And it's not that I'm sure he could be working. It's not like he's hard up for gigs, but he returned to the clubs. Like he had someone would call it a fall, where it was like he had everything. And Brian was saying yesterday, you had a good point about him. Will you share that point about like his comedy did not age well, I guess?
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, some of his material, I guess, from back in the day would be considered offensive now to the degree that he probably wouldn't be able to get away with doing it even.
Like
his,
he used to
his
do...
signature bit was duh, where he'd like make fun of a mentally handicapped person. And like at the time, that was perfectly fine. And nowadays it's not. So like, you know, maybe that didn't age well. And then also he was accused of joke stealing, and that kind of really derailed his career. Like it really affected his career. I don't know why that was the thing, but like, it's really crazy that something like that was like getting canceled before it was about, sexual harassment. That was the most offensive thing, that you stole
that you could
joke?
possibly do.
You
Totally.
could get away with jerking off on somebody in a closet, but you can't get away with stealing a joke.
Yes. It was. There was a footage of Joe Rogan confronting him at the Comedy Store. And that was right when I think Joe Rogan, it made Carlos Mencia unfamous and it made Joe Rogan famous.
Yeah.
Oh, pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And just like
don't
raise his
Joe Rogan, whatever you do.
Status. Yes.
Joe Rogan's one of the most powerful men in the world.
He wasn't at that time though. That clip came out, but it really brought him
he was hosting
as like a
Fear
truth teller.
Factor.
Yeah, well, I mean, which is art, and he was on news radio. I mean, he was a famous guy. There's no question about it. Like, but the way he is now, he was not at that. He was not a household name. And I think that clip did the opposite to each of their careers. But what I will say about Carlos Mencia, what I think I observed from being on the road with him for a little bit, and the way that his the openers that he had and how they would all talk, I do believe they absorb things and they don't think they're stealing. They think I think his argument was like, I'm doing it better kind of thing. And I was thinking about this weekend because my voice teacher is trying to get me to, he knows that I'm not writing original music. So he's trying to get me to do covers in my own way. He's like, you can interpret the song in a completely different way and deliver it so it sounds like a completely different song, even though it's the same melody and the same key and everything. It can sound totally different. I'm like, why is that okay? But it's not okay to take someone's bit and go, you know what? I could actually have a much better perspective on this same thing. Why is that so forbidden? And I agree it is. Like, I obviously don't ever want anyone to do that to my jokes. But how many fucking times have I seen a joke that I have thought of before on stage and someone is just scratching the surface? Like they didn't scratch the whole scratcher's ticket. There is a great joke there, and you could win $1 million, but you just scratch the first row and go, it's something that was kind of fun. And you don't win.
Was there a way to do it where it would be respected by your peers?
There is one way.
You think?
There is one way. You just say like, oh, I've never heard you say that joke. Parallel thinking. I guess
but no one gives a shit about that. If you're called a joke thief, it haunts you the rest of your life. Look at Amy Schumer. Every single clip of hers, there's someone saying she steals jokes when it was really just parallel thought. You know, like if you get called it once, it doesn't matter if it was parallel thought. And I'm talking about when it's not parallel thought. The other night I saw Mark Maron do a joke that I'm like, I have had that thought in my head. And now, and not to say that he just did a scratch the surface joke. He did dig into it. He was talking about being vegan, and and Carlisle goes, I've heard you say that so many times that you could do that. You said it. It was the first time I met you. You said it. How he's like, the best thing about being vegan, it's actually really hard to do. It doesn't taste as good. All these things, but the best thing is that you are a good person, and no one could argue you out of it. You are doing the right thing, and there's no argument. You're choosing to eat animals. I'm like pretty much what I say all the time, which is like, it's the only thing I'm certain of that makes me a better person than everyone else if they're not doing it. But he killed with it. I've never found a way to articulate it, but that's dead to me. If I have a little bit of a different perspective on that whole thing, I can never do that. I can't touch that idea that vegans are superior and that I actually feel like a better person than everyone else. And it's gone. It's dead. But I could have different things to say to it. I could have different riffs that I want to run in a song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are songs you are able to artistically interpret a song and sometimes make it better? I mean, how many people think that what's a better cover than the original? There's millions of songs. But
I think that's
we're not
changing.
allowed to as comedians.
I think the tide's changing. I think it's getting more acceptable to kind of, just as long as it's not a straight up exact same joke, I think it's getting more acceptable because of TikTok. Where on TikTok, everyone is just stealing everyone else's sketch and putting their own spin on it. And if you like look at the accounts that tell you here's how to become viral on TikTok or whatever, they literally say like go through popular successful TikToks and take that idea and then make it your own. And it's not stealing because you're going to take it and put your own spin on it and it's your thing now.
I don't know if I would be so pissed if someone did this to one of my jokes, but if they brought something new to it that I didn't, I would be a little bit jealous and go, oh, I wish I would have thought of that. And I'm glad
it can't be that close,
information should be out there, that added thing. Like
just like a tag or something. It needs to be
No, it has to be
like you're talking about like if I did a joke that was about working at a deli and I had a bunch of jokes about working at a deli and then somebody else came out with jokes that were about working at a deli. It's like, well,
no,
maybe
that's not. I don't think
there.
anyone could accuse that. You both worked at a deli. That's fine. You have different perspectives. I'm talking about a specific joke. Like if I were to do a Mark Maron joke of like, I feel better than all of you people. I know that if I wanted to just expound on that in my own way, that would maybe make that point resonate more or in my own,
I see this happen all the time. I mean,
I can't do it because that's why I don't like watching comedy because if I didn't see him do that, I could have possibly argued that I get to keep doing that.
That's what
but
I'm
now
saying.
That I've seen it, it's off limits.
That's how you get away with it. But like
you
there are
don't
some
watch
jokes
comedy,
that
but then you
so
keep yourself from so many good bits.
There are some
I don't
jokes
know.
that
That
become
seems so general.
famous that you can't.
No,
like
that's specific.
If somebody went ahead and did a joke that was like, Oscar the Grouch is angry because he's a homeless poor guy, like Dave Chappelle's joke. If somebody did a joke like that, then that would be off the table because it's such a famous bit. But like if someone did like a
right, it's very specific.
If someone did a joke about gun control needing, we should have bullet control, that would be clear you can't do that because Chris Rock's bit is so famous. But like, I don't know, there's just some things that it's just.
It feels icky to me. It feels like I would be wrong to. It's like shoplifting when you know that they have a surplus or something.
It's only icky
it's still
if you
wrong,
did it on
even though they
purpose.
won't. Huh?
It's only icky if you did it on purpose. If you sat down, saw someone tell a joke and said, oh, I can do that joke better, and then did that joke.
But am I not doing that when I see Mark Maron do a bit that I've only thought and said to my friends and said on podcasts, but I haven't actually said, oh, I want to take that on the stage. Isn't that stealing to be like, yeah, that does work on stage. I'm going to start doing it on stage. How is that not? To me, it feels, I'm not going to do it. You're never going to see me do it.
I've heard Bonnie McFarlane say years ago, I'm a vegan, any other vegans in the house? I mean, they do say that it's like the number one way of helping to save the environment is being a vegan. So I'm better than all of you. But anyway, she goes on. So that's like a parallel.
Well, I've
thought.
said the joke that I will keep in my act is like, it's just a short one, but it's not going into it, which is, I really do recommend being vegan. I feel better than you. Just saying it like, a little Kevin Nealon-ish. But
okay, that's a perfect example. That's not.
But I want to
but it's parallel thinking.
No, I was jealous of Mark Maron's because it really, everyone in the audience, I know that audience was 90% not vegan at the fucking least, whatever the word is for that. And they all fucking got it. They were all like feeling a little guilty, but also laughing. And I'm like, that's what I want people to do is like actually see. I want to make people go, maybe I should go vegan. That's a good point he's making. But I don't think that my little joke that I just told does that at all. And I think his does. So anyway, what I think happened with Carlos Mencia is not only that where he's like, I could do it better. I think he had joke writers for him, right? He had his openers would write for him and give him bits. And I think sometimes they would actually be talking backstage and they would say something funny and he would just take it from them. and just he'd be like, that's good, I'm going to use that, because that has happened to me and Brian, he's nodding, so many times where you're talking to a comedian and you guys, you bring up the bit, you start riffing on it with the person next to you, maybe they say some dumb tag and they go, I'm going to use that, that's good, and you go, no, what just happened? I came up with that. You've just now convinced yourself you did because you either laughed at what I said or you acknowledged that was good. Like, that is the most insane thing, and it happens a lot. And I've only in the probably the past 5 years been brave enough to go, no, I'm gonna that's mine. Like, I'm gonna use that. It happened the other night. Someone who I know very well did it to me and was like, can I use that? And I go, it was really hard for me to do because I look up to this person and I would like to be as successful and prolific as this person, but now I know how they're prolific. Because I go, no, I might use that. And I honestly didn't think about using it until you just said that you wanted to use it, but it is my thought, so I get to determine whether I was like, I'll let you know if I don't, but I think I'm going to. And I probably never will, but I don't want him to have it because it was mine.
It's cool that they asked.
I don't think they asked. He was like, wait, he kind of asked, but it was almost like, I'm gonna I could do that, right? And I was just using. Like, he did ask, I guess, and it was nice. So, but this was the thing. I think Carlos Mencia had his people write for him, and they would steal from people. And so he would do a bit. They would knowingly steal because they're like, we got to give Carlos something. They would see some open micer set. So Carlos wasn't doing the one that was stealing. He was having writers write for him, and they would steal because I would see. I think that's what was happening. So when he heard like these. But who knows? He also was confronted with some pretty obvious bits that he probably really did hear, like the Cosby one about something.
We were watching Gabriel Iglesias special this last week, and he did a joke that was extremely similar to a Bill Burr joke. But it's just because the premise is like, it's like not that original, but it's still funny. The joke was when your dog comes to greet you at the door, your wife gets jealous because you like greeting the dog better than the wife, and then the wife goes, premise. why are you happier when you greet the dog? And then Gabriel Iglesias's punchline is like, well, because you don't have your tongue hanging out, running around in circles, all happy to see me. And Bill Burr's punchline is, well, if I come home at 2 a.m. drunk, you're not walking up to the door shaking your ass. And like, it's the same joke. But did they steal that joke from each other? I don't think so.
I would say that people would argue if people connected it, they would accuse whoever came out later with the joke. And by the way, actually, they would accuse, because no one would ever think Bill Burr would steal a joke. But I think people would probably think Gabriel Iglesias stole a joke.
Bill Burr's was first, for sure.
Yeah, it was. But I think even if it came second, no one would ever, people would go, he wouldn't do that. Like, no one would have. I think Mark Norman got accused of stealing a joke once, and then it didn't go anywhere because everyone's like, no, this guy doesn't pull that shit. We just know it, the type of comic he is. He doesn't need to do that. Bill Burr doesn't need to do it. I'm not a huge Gabriel Iglesias fan, but I would think based on things I'm not a huge, I don't know his comedy. I don't think he's a thief, but I think he would get pinned on that more than, you know what I mean? And
but my point is does something like that even matter? Like that, yeah, I guess that was the same joke, but
yes, when you want to villainize someone and discount and discredit them. Yeah,
well,
and that's all people have sometimes. That's what I fear, I guess, is like people hate me. So there's some people who don't like me so much that they would love to do what they did to Amy, which is finally we have a reason to not like her other than she just is a girl who's talking too loud and making us feel, sometimes calling us out. So, and telling us not to use guns or whatever they're really annoyed with Amy for, but they're like, no, she's a thief now. We have something that is like, yes, and now let's stick to it and write it under every clip she has. And now that's the people that don't even know the story of where this originated from and how it's based in fucking nothing will just think she's a liar or she's a thief because that's what we wrote in this YouTube comment. That's what I'm scared of.
Yeah.
But anyway, I met Jeremy Renner. Carlos comes up to me. And he's like, it's Carlos. And I was like, oh my God, Carlos. We hugged and we remembered working together. And he was so nice and was like, congrats on all your success. And he was kind of like, are you handling it well? And I've realized this thing in LA that people think I'm really like, it's very nice, but everyone thinks I'm just fucking killing it. Like, it's nice, but I really am like, don't you know that anything on Instagram isn't real? Like it means that I'm doing a good job on social media, which I didn't think I was. But for my constituents, to believe that I'm like killing it, which listen, I have no complaints about my career. I literally don't want anything to change. I want for nothing. But am I like the number one comedian in the like killing it in the ways that I feel like these people sometimes say? I'm like, no, like it's fine. It's good. But it was nice of him to say that. But I'm like, I'm nowhere near the level of what he was killing it in the mid 2000s. Not even fucking close. But he was like, wow, you're really, and I'm like, but I said something like, I go, it's been very gradual. I actually heard James Marsden. There was a quote yesterday I read on Reddit of him saying that, because people are like, why has he not had like a big moment? Like, why is he not more famous? And he's like, I'm so glad I'm not. I love a gradual, 2% more successful every year. Gradual.
Like an index
And that's
fund.
the way to do it. No one gets, yes, like an index fund, safe. There's low risk. There's no, because if you do a gradual, no one gets fucking annoyed by you. People just go, oh yeah, like, but a meteoric rise, people are gonna fucking turn.
Yes.
So you got to be gradual. I like that little gradual. And I even said that to Carlos, and I didn't realize I was like kind of saying to him what I, noticed about his own career. I was like, I like gradual. I don't think I could handle overnight, and I think it would be taken away from me, like immediately. Or like within years. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm telling him his life story. Like, in other words, I don't want to end up at the Ha Ha Cafe on a Saturday night, even though that's where I am right now in my career. So then I do my set. It was fine. And Carlos watched it. And I was nervous about Carlos watching it because he's a fucking killer. There's thief or not, one of the best performers ever. And you can't get to that level without being super fucking talented. And he's very nice to me even back then. And it just wasn't a good fit for me to open for him, but he was in the room. And then I walk out and I have to run to my other set because now I'm kind of late. And Carla's like, wait, Jeremy Renner wants to meet you. And I'm like, why is this like a thing? Like, why do I have to go to like a wait for Jeremy to exit? He's a big fan. I was like, okay, well now I will. And so I wait, and then Jeremy comes out and he's kind of like, I think he's drunk. I'm like, oh. Like, I was like, hi, and we like hug, and he does like kind of a long hug, not like a creepy long hug, but it's slow. It's like Anya packing. It's it's just just a slower thing. And I'm like, oh, he's wasted, not wasted, but like verge of wasted. And he's kind of talking slower, and I'm like, how's it going? And I was more asking like with the strike, like, oh, it's hard out there, like, you got time on a Saturday night, to come to the Ha Ha. And he's like, considering everything I've been through, I'm just happy to be here. And I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden it went flooding back, like the snowmobile accident. He almost died. And I was like, oh my God.
Rescuing someone.
Yeah, he was like rescuing his nephew, I think.
Yeah.
I didn't look into the details. I should have looked into it more. But I know he was like almost, maybe in a medically induced coma, almost died. Has to like learn to walk again. He looked, and then all of a sudden, when I saw him in that light, when I realized that I had beer goggles on, as soon as I noticed a little bit something off with him, I just go, he's wasted. And I like kind of am just like, let me just get through this. And then all of a sudden he seemed very lucid to me. And I was like, you're just doing great. And he was hilarious, nice, talking a little bit slower, but, it seems to be well on the mend. And like, he was just saying how great he's like, I've learned a lot in all of this, like having that kind of gratitude that people have when they go through something very traumatic. But he was just so freaking nice. We had many hugs of just like, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Like it felt like I'd known him forever. He was so nice, and we took pictures together, and it was just a great. He was just a very normal. I was like, I didn't realize like what a huge fucking star he was, but it was a very cool to meet him, and he was very nice to me. And that's all I have to say about that.
So why was he talking slowly?
Because I think he's maybe on pain meds or something.
Okay. Wow.
He's gotta be.
He broke 30 bones and had blunt chest trauma after being hit and run over by a snowplow at his home, January 1st of this year.
Jesus Christ.
It's the fact that he's up and he's walking around, that's
he was totally
10 weeks later, he was strong enough to start walking with a cane. So it was quite a big accident.
He's a fucking superhero.
Yeah. He's going to be back. He looked great, but he was really nice, and I was just so happy to meet him and hopefully like have a new friend in this business that I'm just like, oh, it gives me faith in this crazy celebrity culture that I kind of am just roll my eyes at. Yeah.
That's so cool.
It was nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of people like that are going to want to be your friend.
It's interesting. Because you forget that like actors look at comedians like, oh, how could you do that? I could never do that. You just go up there and there's no script and they do put us on a pedestal. I forget that sometimes because we're way less famous than they are. But if they've seen like one thing we do, they're kind of like so impressed with us. So that is nice when you like are known by I would never think that he would know who I was, but it's at that point now.
Especially when you're like going through recovery. I'm sure you're trying to laugh as much as possible. So I bet he got exposed to you even more during this year. You know what I mean? How cool that I think he probably killed it on SNL too. I want to go watch that performance now.
Mm-hmm. I have a faint memory. I got to watch it again, but I remember just being so upset by it because it was too much talent. TMT.
I have a story I got to tell about that's relevant to the joke stealing that I'm glad it's at the very end of the podcast because I'm a little weary of telling it. But and I won't say who it was, but many years ago I was hosting at the Comedy Attic and there was a feature that came, and this has nothing to do with the headliner. This is just the feature.
Middle act.
Yeah, the middle act. I was having a drink with him or whatever I was doing, and he started telling me this story about this very famous comedian who he used to open for. And he said he opened for this guy for around 7 years and then all of a sudden stopped. And the reason is because this is a guy, he's a feature. He's less than 10 years into the game. He's got 25 minutes of material. That's it. Like he worked all that time to get his 25 minutes. And he takes it on the road.
Changing.
It's not changing. I mean, he doesn't have the opportunity to grow it. I mean, I can relate, but he's like, he's got 25 minutes and that's like the most precious thing in the world to him. You got to understand that. And he's been opening for this guy for 7 years. And then one day he gets a phone call from this guy. And the guy says, listen, I just filmed my hour special. I want you to know that I may have accidentally used one of your jokes in my special. And I'm really sorry about it, but I will give you $40,000. Or maybe it was $10,000. $10,000 for the joke. Okay. And the guy was like, okay, well, that sucks, but I guess, $10,000 for one of my jokes, that's fine. I guess I don't love it, but I'll take the money. So he takes the money. And then the special comes out, and it turns out this guy used 20 minutes of his material on the hour special. And because
I am so excited to find out who this is when we're off air.
And because he paid him $10,000 legally, he has no recourse.
Because he signed something?
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you $10,000 for the joke. Here's the thing to sign. He signed it. And it just said like,
but that motherfucker
material.
lied.
Yeah,
I'm sure he told him it was just the joke you do. That is just this joke. I'm sure they talked about what joke it was. I'm positive of it, but it was not. So so now this guy has 5 minutes
and
left.
Now this guy can't do any of his jokes because people will accuse him. Special. They're like, oh, that's not your joke. That's this other guy's joke. Yeah, and so he almost quit comedy. But then he slowly clawed his way back. And he now has 20 minutes again. And I watched him do the 20 minutes and it'd be nice if he had those old 20 minutes back. I gotta say.
No one's paying for this new 20. But Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How do we make this person pay?
They've already paid dearly. And
I'm gonna say, I think this person has been canceled in some way.
Canceled by God.
Karma is my boyfriend.
Oh, Ralphie May?
I'm not saying who it is. Why do you say Ralphie May?
That means because he's dead?
Well, he's not the only person who's dead, though.
I don't know, but he's the first person I can think of that died.
As Anya's dad would say, most people are dead.
That's true. God damn it. Who's a dead comedian? Why can't I think of not Greg Giraldo?
Brian's not going to tell
I'm
you.
not going to tell you. I'm not going
I
to
know,
tell
but
you.
I want
Brian's
to
not
keep naming names for our listeners to maybe, incite intrigue and have them guessing.
I will say
and I want you to
definitively-
have a reaction when I say a name that will confirm who it is. Who's dead? Come on, you guys, think of
I
dead
can say
comedians.
Gary
definitively,
Shandling died,
it
but he
is-
wouldn't do that.
It is
No,
not
never.
Greg Giraldo, and it is not Norm Macdonald. I will say that.
I was gonna
definitively.
say why can't I think of? But Ralphie May seems like it's one it could be, but I'm guessing it wasn't. God, who else has tragically died?
And someone hugely famous, right?
Yeah, someone who had a really good career and taped a special within the past 10 or 15 years.
Mhm.
God damn it. Let me just look up
Yeah.
dead comedians really quick.
Not Bob. Well, Gary Shandling, Bob, what's his name? The brother of Albert Brooks. So I can't remember who was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, but he's not huge.
Not Bill Hicks, not Bernie Mac. Oh, Robin Williams.
Well,
No.
Robin Williams is a famous joke stealer.
Yeah, we have all forgiven that.
Because he's such a
Not
great
Mitch
actor.
Hedberg. No fucking way was it Mitch. Not Bob Saget.
No,
Okay.
not Bob. Saget.
Thank God.
Not Patrice.
The only thing Bob Saget stole was our hearts.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
kidding.
About
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Okay, well, I'm going to stop guessing, but you are going to tell me within
Good
30
guesses,
seconds of
Nikki.
us ending this podcast, and that's why we have to go. You guys, talk about it amongst yourselves. Maybe we'll make little Easter eggs about who it's about in a future episode, but we'll never confirm it because we can't have this out there, and we want to protect the guy who got paid $10,000, who is probably at, the Chuckle Hut in Dayton this weekend with that new 20. All right, thank you for joining us today. We will be here tomorrow. We'll do a Reddit dump tomorrow. Let's get into it then. Thank you all. Don't be and just take a joke and make it your own.